It's been a while since I last made a food sculpture, so I wanted to make one again. I couldn't decide whether I wanted to make a dessert or another savory dish, but in the end, I chose to make another savory one. I swear I'll make a dessert one next time. I actually prefer desserts over anything else, but I couldn't get this idea out of my head. I thought it'd be so cute. Let me show you in the sketch. What I wanted to make was an omurice dish, with a little bear sleeping underneath it. Like he's hibernating in a cave full of rice. What a dream. I realize I might just continually make these bear themed, cause the first was a bear burger, and here we are with another bear. I just can't stop. I just really love bears. I added some veggies for a little more pop of color. I didn't want everything to be complete yellows and browns, and he gets a little lettuce on his head for garnish. I was so obsessed with this sketch that I ended up shading and putting so much detail into the drawing. It ended up just becoming a complete piece with highlights and everything. I should make this into a sticker or something. It's too cute. Anyway, it's done. I'm ready to sculpt.
Sculpting!
First off, I'm going to work on the omelet part of the sculpt. It's a huge piece. I only clay up the top and some of the underside. That's cause most of the underside won't be seen. I'm rolling up a long strip for the ketchup squiggle and putting that on. Now I make a cute little ketchup heart. Here is the fried rice part. Once again, I'm not fully covering the entire thing in clay. Only the parts that will be visible. I'm making lots of rice pieces. A lot of them. More than what I'm showing here. I got a lot of space to cover. I also made a few pieces of peas and carrots. Before I stick the small rice pieces on, I try to texture the clay a bit. I sporadically dotted the entire thing with the back of my paintbrush. Now I slowly glue each piece of rice on. This is what we get. There are some empty spots I'll fill in with peas and carrots later.
Next.
Time for the bear. I clay up the piece for his head. Then I work on his arms that are folded up under his head. I roll some balls for his ears and shape them. Before popping them on. I also use the back of my paintbrush again to make circular indents for the inner ears. I smooth on some clay to make his snout pop out. He's done.
Next.
I'm going to make the vegetables now. These pieces will be the tomato slices. Very big tomato slices. Adding some details. And done.
Next.
This small piece is the lettuce hat for the bear. ruffled it and added as much detail as I thought it needed, before sticking it on top of his head. Now time for the bigger lettuce pieces. I just flattened 2 pieces of clay and ruffled them up the same way. I then stick them to each other. After I place everything in their proper spot, this is what we got. Now all of these can go into the oven and get baked and prepped for painting.
Paint time!
The egg is a bright yellow that I layer on for good coverage. I want to make sure that it's a nice eggy color. Then I start shading the egg with lighter yellows. I dry brush it on. I add tiny little specks for detail. Now I can paint the ketchup red. I try to be very careful painting the ketchup without touching the egg part. And when that's done, I can highlight with lighter red. The rice I paint a light orange. Kinda looks like a nacho cheese color. I may have made the fried rice a little too orange, but I've eaten some orange fried rice in my life, so it exists. I shade some darker parts and add highlights to the grains. I plop the egg on the rice, and here it is.
Next.
The bear is painted a warm brown and a darker brown. I used the darker brown for the inside of the ears and his eyebrows. I paint his face now. I also stick his lettuce hat on. Spoilers, the lettuce hat will be painted soon in the video.
Next.
The tomatoes are red. With a salmon pinkish color in the center. That's where I also add the seeds. Ta-da!
Next.
Now for the lettuce. It's just many shades of green. I base color everything and then add highlights with more yellowish greens. I do the same thing for the bigger piece of lettuce. They're done.
Next.
The tiny peas and carrots are painted green and orange.
Next.
Lastly is the plate, which is white with light gray. I blend in the gray ring for dimension. And paint a darker line for the plate's inner ridges. Here's our base. Now putting everything together. This meal is less like assembling a real omurice and more like assembling a sculpture, because I didn't get to squeeze out any ketchup and flop the egg on top. I also have to glue all the vegetable pieces into the rice one by one. But here I'll just scatter them around. Wow!
Success! Whoopee!
I wanted to see these two side by side because they have the same color palette, and oh my gosh, they look so good. I think this was pretty accurate. I'm really happy with how it came out. The one thing that I changed were the vegetables in the back. The tomatoes are big and the lettuce is big. So much bigger than the sketch version. But that's good because it can actually be somewhat seen from the front. I should have made the lettuce even bigger so it can be visible. But other than that, the bear looks good and the rice and egg looks so yummy. There goes another food sculpture. I'm pumped for the next one. It'll definitely be a sweet one, I promise. It's about time I bring in some dessert after all the main savory courses I've been making. Let me know what you think about the project. And thank you so much for watching. I never ask this because I usually forget, but maybe I should start remembering to add this to the end of the videos. Leave a like if you like the video, and subscribe if you're interested in seeing more from me. Hope you'll be back for the next one.
Bye-bye!